Hello there, YouTube. This is a video response to Divinity's self-proclaimed rant about the homophobic undercurrent in some gaming communities. Now, I can't really speak for computer gamers because I'm only involved in one online computer game, and that computer game is DC Universe. DC Universe is somewhat, I'm assuming, City of Heroes and and other superhero games are like this too, but it's somewhat escaped the usual homophobia because of the fact that, as I witnessed myself in the chat logs, I think I was actually smashing my hammer into a demon's face at the point, but I was sort of briefly glancing at the chat logs, and somebody turned around and used a homophobic insult, to which half the people who are constantly posting on the chat turned around and said, "Dude, you're the one in the skin-tight spandex," which was true. This guy was playing a big beefy bloke in skin-tight spandex, so he didn't have a I know that's a stereotype and it's not really, but it was a good comeback, and it shut him up. When it comes to gaming, a lot of things I've noticed also in the tabletop role-playing game community as well. There is this degree of that there's not a lot of homophobia that I've noticed in tabletop gaming, but there is this thing with the antis getting involved. I think I mentioned this in a previous video where they're getting oversensitive to feminist issues when they're in a complete fantasy world that is not going to be enlightened. It's not going to be like our modern world, and more to the point, everybody in it is fictional, and not even, most of the time, not even photograph. They don't even use photographs of an actress. They just draw. And how you can argue that that is somehow exploitative, I have no idea, and I still continue to have no idea. But I'll admit there are some points. So there is a problem with forums with tabletop gaming. There are some which are bastions of free speech, like RPG Site. There are others which are incredibly oversensitive. I'm not going to mention it because I'll probably get banned, but there are several others that are I'm not just mentioning the one that probably will ban you for starting into forum drama, but there are some forums that are really oversensitive to various issues and where antis hold sway. I remember one incident that came up on the RPG Site. Somebody mentioned, they said, if you want an idea of where the feminists are on this particular site, somebody posted a link to this article and people thought it was mainstream. This article was an anti going really over the top and actually calling for the castration of anybody who goes to massage parlours. And they consider that normal. There is something fundamentally fucked up with that, and it is a growing problem because publishers who, like Postmortem, who I started with in my own Kiddyway Classics, are having trouble with this oversensitivity and the way that they seem to be. They're not necessarily controlling the market because our sales are still brilliant. Our sales are awesome, considering we're selling to a mainly American market and we're selling relatively adult products. And there are, no offense to the Americans, I keep saying this, but there are a lot of Puritans over there and a lot of prudes. And the fact that we're still in business says a lot. But though we are still in business, we are constantly being hounded by people like PayPal and others who are trying to push this moralizing agenda. I'm not with PayPal, I'm pretty convinced it is the person in charge. But with others, when it comes to things like adult filters and things like that, I'm pretty sure it's pressure from this minority of really active antis who are just ruining the fun of thousands of people who get this stuff. Not thousands. Nobody, thousands haven't bought mine. I'd love that. I'd love a bit of that. But I'm just saying, when you take into account the sales of products like, oh good grief, Hot Chicks, the role-playing game, and Macho Women with Guns, you're talking a lot of sales there, and it is incredibly bad. But there is, I will not deny that there is a sexism problem when it comes to inclusivity problem when it comes to role-playing games, because of the fact it started as a nerdy white boy fad. And now that there are new people moving in, when you have any sort of very insular niche community, new people moving in, you get some people reacting. But I'd say that was a minority thing. It's not representative of the vast majority of gamers who do not care who they are sat around the table with, provided they can actually play their character. Because I tell you, pretty much all my problem players, if I've ever had a problem player, it's usually been a stereotype player. It's not been somebody from a particular community that's not normally associated with gaming. Possibly one exception, but it's a thing really, and I've always wanted inclusivity because I want as many people as possible to enjoy tabletop gaming, because I think it's a far superior and more social hobby than, say, online gaming or something like that. And it's more creative in that you have a lot more freedom of action. You're not force-fed this plot line. You can go and do what you like to a greater extent, and even in the most complicated of MMOs, you can go and do what you like, and you can actually screw with your games master and go off on a completely different tangent that he or she wasn't expecting, and end up playing a completely different game from even the games master knew was going to be, which still remains why these games are superior to the computer games, and obviously the fact that you're actually going out and meeting people. But that's beside the point. The point is, we're going to have these issues, and I think with computers games, I think it's the homophobia that's coming to the fore more than the sexism, although there has been some incidents of sexism. But I think it's more to do with it's a net thing than a gamer thing, because the internet allows you this anonymity, and that can be a bad thing. It can be a good thing. It can be a very bad thing. And yeah, that's just my thoughts. While we're on the subject, Divinity, if you are interested, I can get you a copy of a game I wrote called Courtesans. It's a role-playing game based around the high society professional mistresses of the 18th century. And it was written with a kind of sort of moderate feminist angle, or I like to think it was anyway. And I'd be very, very appreciative of a review from somebody along those lines. So if you could get in touch, that'd be great. Thanks. Bye.